All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. We're very excited to gather so many customers in one place. I'm looking at the attendee list, and I'm looking at the list of people who are arriving. There's so many of you, which is so amazing. And I see a lot of faces that I recognize, a lot of names that I recognize. That's also great. If you don't know me, my name is Maksim Ovsyannikov, and I am the head of product here. With me is Julie and Lauren, representing marketing and customer success. I'll tell you a little bit about me. I joined Grovo almost a year ago, and I joined Grovo during very interesting and very exciting time. Time when the company has already decided to build the next generation of its learning technology, the next generation of the solutions that we would give to all of you so that you can benefit from them. And today is a very special day because that's what we've been doing for the last year. We've been listening to you. We've been working with all of you to understand your needs, to innovate with you. And you're actually the first group of people to ever see the demo of Grovo Delta. So that is really cool, not only because we're all excited, but because you're literally the first group of people to whom we're showing this end-to-end beautiful product. And so I already mentioned Grovo Delta, but basically what we did is we looked very closely at how you were using the existing product that you have in your hands, the existing Grovo. We have had many, many different conversations with you about how we could improve it. We have worked with you across multiple different use cases, solving different challenges so that we could understand how can our solution become even better. We understood almost every single need that you guys have had and every single need that you have been explaining to us, and we tried to incorporate all of that into the next generation of our solution. And ultimately, what we wanted to do is to innovate with you. In summary, we saw three very fundamental issues with learning. We saw an issue that sort of started with what I call learner experience. It was very hard for learners to come to content, engage with content, actually love this content and love the experience. Just checking, what do you guys think? Do we have the slides on? No? It's not showing slides. Okay, so just a second. Here we go.
There you go. Yeah.
How about now?
Mm-hmm.
It's working? Okay. God, they stopped me right in the beginning so that I didn't go too far without showing you the slides. But anyhow, so after all these conversations, when we were setting the roadmap for what would the next generation of Grovo Delta be, we focused on three very fundamental issues, right? The first was all about learner experience. We have understood that the number one issue that you currently have with your learning technology is that you can't bring the learner and engage the learner with the content, with the learning program. And that was really number one challenge for you, right? Learner engagement was very, very low. The second issue that we wanted to solve with the next generation of our solution was the content creation. And so it's interesting, I talked to many people in the industry, and one of the number one issues that they don't realize is that, when you spend $50,000 on an LMS, you have to turn around and spend another $500,000 buying content so that you can load that content into that LMS and then distribute a learning program to your organization. And so content creation was an equally big issue with learner experience because we definitely wanted to build, first in the industry, might I say, very light, very beautiful, excellent content creation tool that you can not only put in the hands of your administrator, in the hands of the designers of your learning program, but also in the hands of anyone else in the organization that believed in the power of content creation and wanted to be part of it. And so we're very excited about that. And if you're wondering, I will not be just showing you the slides, I will also show you the demo. So if you're getting a little bit anxious about seeing that, just give me a few more minutes and I will dive into the application next. And the last thing that we were so passionate about, and hence us including it as a major pillar in the next generation of our solution, was the automation and data. We knew that even though your learners can like the content and even though you can build your own content, we knew that we had to give you tools to build a very intelligent learning program. Learning program that will understand your workforce and run almost automatically based on rules, days, dates, deadlines, and topics that you configure for the organization. So learner experience, content creation, and automation and data were three key topics that we heard from all of you. And so I just want to say again that even though there is definitely a lot of our own innovation here, when I look at this product and when I look at something that I'm about to show you, we have definitely built this product with all of you, and it's because of our customers that we are so excited to announce it and to showcase it. And of course, we're showcasing it first to our customers with that kind of respect in mind. So meet Grovo Delta. And so you're used to the word Grovo, you're not used to the word Delta, so I'll just explain a little bit how we've come up with the name and what does the name mean. So Grovo is the name of our company, and so all of our products are still called Grovo, but we wanted a way, or we wanted a method for our existing customers to reference to the next generation of Grovo. And we called it Grovo Delta because Grovo Delta and the word Delta itself already exemplified and already had so much meaning related to change, difference, moving forward, that we thought that Grovo Delta would be a very good way to describe it to our customers. So when you reach out to your customer success organization, to your self-organization, when you reach back out to us, if I hopefully get so much of your interest via the demo in just a few minutes, use the word Grovo Delta because that's how we're referencing this solution. In summary, I just want to highlight before I dive into the demo, and we'll sort of follow the same map for the demo. There are 4 important components of the application. Some of them are very new, and some of the ones you're already used to, they just look new, and they feel very new. The first one is Learn. Learn is about brand new learner experience. We no longer wanted to offer video-only learner experience that's embedded in a page and that requires the learner to consume sometimes lengthy videos in order to really understand the content. We wanted to build the kind of learner experience that's self-paced, that allows you to move at your own velocity through the lesson. We wanted to build the kind of learner experience that's immersive, meaning you don't just look at one little part of the page to consume the content, but the page consumes you. You sort of feel like you're in the sea of knowledge when you consume a lesson. We wanted that experience to be very explorative because we wanted to not only support the use case where someone in the company assigns or recommends content to you, but we wanted to offer many different ways for you to discover content. We felt that content discovery in the modern world of learning is a super important use case, and so we included it. And last but not least, the way that we approach this whole application is we wanted this to then become a daily learning destination for your workforce. And I'll show you a lot of why we thought that way, why we made it a high priority, and also what we've done to accommodate for this daily learning destination for the learner. The next area here is content creation. And we're super proud of it because it's a brand new area of Grovo. Like I said, it's amazing that many people think that when they acquire an LMS, a learning management system, they're also acquiring content. Or even if they are acquiring some content, it's amazing that those people believe that that content has any relevance or any usefulness to their workforce. And so we knew that not only did we have to deliver the Grovo library that you're already used to, with many, many new topics and many new lessons and many new enhancements that you'll see in a minute, but we also wanted to give you a tool that can allow you to build your own content, one, and two, allow you to actually repurpose some of the content that we give you so that you can make edits and changes in our content creation tool and then publish this changed content that more closely mimics the needs of your organization back to your company. So I'm very excited to show you this, and this will definitely be part of the demo. Next here, you see that we also build a very powerful tool that allows you to plan your learning program across your organization. And so not only is this a daily learning destination to your learners, not only is this an amazing content creation tool, but it's also an incredible tool to then take this content and take the population of learners that you have and build learning campaigns and assignments that drive even greater engagement and give you even greater data around content consumption that can ultimately be compliance-related data so that you can very effectively run a formal learning use case in your organization. And then last but not least, we heard over and over again your pain points about data and reporting. We heard over and over again that, you know, in some cases, when you needed to run a report, you had to, you know, reach out to our services or our customer success organization, request it, and then wait for a week or so before it was produced. And so with this version, with Grovo Delta, we wanted to give you amazing reporting tools right at your fingertips that allow you for content portability, that allow you to port the data that you have in the system so that you can massage it and format it elsewhere if you choose to, and some analytics tools of choice. But mainly, we also wanted to give you a very easy way to report on users, on group, on content, on roles, and then wrap it all into these amazing reports and dashboards that I'll show you in a minute that really, really deliver value. So I'm super excited. I hope you sort of sense the escalation or the elevation of my excitement through the webinar. I think that by the middle of the webinar, I might start getting out of breath, but then I will take a little pause and I'll take a deep breath, and my little glass of water is right next to me, so don't worry about me. So the next thing we're going to do is go into the demo, right? We built the product, so why show the slides? Let's show the actual application. So I'm just going to switch between the presentation and the product, and I'm going to look at the ladies here just to make sure that we are now showing the product. So a few things. The number one thing that you'll see when you land on Grovo is that we have divided the application into different parts. And so I'm mousing over the left panel here, and it's a brand new navigation. So whatever navigation you're used to in the old version of the product is no longer the same, but hopefully this one is so intuitive that it will be very, very easy for you to consume. And if you like to, if you don't, you know, if you can't understand, or if it's not sufficient for you to simply see the thumbnails, you can always expand it right here and always get into the more of that tree organization of what this navigation is. So you see, in the order that I just presented in the slide, we'll talk about Learn, which is all about learner experience and what the learner sees in their daily landing learning destination within Grovo Delta. We will talk about Create, and we will talk about building content, whether it's for admins only or for your managers as well, or for anyone in the company. We'll cover these use cases and show you how Grovo Delta now allows you to easily build micro-learning content and distribute it in the organization. We will talk about learning campaigns, and most importantly, we will look at how campaigns can be used as ways of delivering this content very, very effectively. We will talk about Grovo Report, and I'll show you some of the new reports, as well as some of the dashboards and some of the ways to port the actual data that you have, and hopefully you'll find it very, very exciting because, like I said, it's finally, data, insights, reporting in your fingertips. Super, super cool. Frankly, I think that when I show you this, you will conclude that the dashboard that we've built is something that you can definitely put in slide and show to your CEO as an ROI or as a set of accomplishments for your learning program. That was the goal. And then we'll talk about admin tools, right? Very important. We heard from you that you need better ability to manage users, better ability to manage roles and permissions, better ability to manage groups. And so I'm very excited to start the demo. So I would just go ahead and collapse this so that we have more room. And so when a learner, this is interesting, this is not a demo system. I actually logged into, if you look at the top of the browser here, it's grovo.grovo. It's Grovo's implementation of Grovo at Grovo. So you'll see a lot of Grovo here because it's our own implementation of Grovo, but I'm so proud to demo it because I don't need the demo data to show you how wonderful and how beautiful this system is. I'm actually more interested in showing you what it actually looks like for me as a learner, as a manager, and as an administrator in this application. So the first thing you see for the learner is you see kind of the hero image here at the top of the page. Almost looks like a website. A hero image at the top of the page that invites me to continue learning. And that was the most important call to action that we wanted to incorporate on the learner home. We want you to continue learning where you dropped off. We saw a lot of content that was never completed. So we were wondering, how can we put these big calls to action everywhere for the learners so that they can continue learning where they dropped off? And that's what you see here. You see that I have an overdue lesson. We'll talk about it in a second. You see that it's a 2 out of 10, which means it's a lesson that's part of an objective track of different lessons that are on the same topic. In this case, there are 10 such lessons. And that my next lesson, or the lesson that I should be continuing, is what does bias look like? So that is one of our most popular objectives on unconscious bias, where somebody is consuming the middle of that lesson, basically. The next thing that you see on my learner home here as a learner is you see some of my upcoming assignments. So this is a great exemplification of assigned learning use case, where I am the kind of learner because of who I am, because of my role, because of my department, the skills that I need to learn, because of some annual or semi-annual compliance and certification trainings that I have. I am being assigned certain things, right? As a manager, I need to learn about unconscious bias. As a manager, I need to learn about how to develop my team. So you see a lot of management training assigned to me here because I am a manager. You also see the campaign calendar, and you can easily go to a page that summarizes all of your assignments, all of the assignments that you're yet to complete, and some of the formal learning that you've completed, which sort of serves like a transcript of your completed learning within Grovo. Okay? So I'm just going to go back for a minute and show you a few more areas of the learner home. You see the campaign calendar here, which is used to both show you dates when some assignments were due that are now past due, the date that is now, which clearly shows Tuesday the 27th, as well as some upcoming assignments that are due soon. So you see that I have something due here on the 29th, and if you see here, it's an introduction to a new product manager, actually. One of the new things that we do in the company is everybody who joins, because we've built such an amazing content creation tool, every new employee who joins actually builds a tool to explain who they are and to distribute it to the organization like a lesson. And so in this case, the new product manager who just joined a week ago actually created her lesson, and she has assigned it to everybody. Good for her, because she wants to know, she wants to make sure that people actually consume that sort of lesson. As we continue our journey down the Learner home page, you see some cool stuff. You see featured lessons, which can be recommended or recent learning. And this recommended or recent learning can come from two sources, actually more than two sources, at least three sources. One is Grovo itself. Our content team will be frequently recommending some of the recent content that they're building, and they will be surfacing it here. Second source that it can come from is your own administrator overruling or overriding this content, and of course, putting the content here that is relevant to a learning program that's running in the organization now. So, for example, if you are indeed running the unconscious bias campaign in your company, and if you want to amplify the number of channels or notifications or ways that the learner sees that this content is available for them, then of course they would go here and they would know that this is a featured content, and hopefully these kind of thumbnails and the names of the lesson will entice somebody to go in and start viewing it. We'll actually go and look into one of these lessons in a second, so give me one moment. I know you're already interested. As I continue going down here, you see different ways for me to explore content. You see browse and search. So search always lives at the top of the page, so you can search for content all across the application, and this can be either the content that's here in Grovo or even some of the federated content libraries that you can port to Grovo, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But browsing gives me sort of an easier way. If I don't know exactly what I'm searching for, I can start browsing by tag. And these tags, we already shipped the product with a pre-built tag library, and we encourage you to start using it. But if you want to make your library yours, your own, you can always modify it, and you can always build the kind of tag library that you want. You can also allow the content creator at the time of content creation to define their own tags. And so you can decide how you manage tags. So let's just go through some exploration here. If I click on communication, I see, all kinds of lessons and tracks that are built on the topic of communication. And for example, if I want to search, if I'm interested in that deep work topic that we just saw, I will search. You see how super blazing fast it is. And I'm going to start seeing some tracks that combine content around work. And so this one is a really cool one. I've been interested in this one for a while. It's making time for meaningful work. All of us need to make time for meaningful work, yet so many of us fail. It's interesting how as soon as you walk into the front door of your organization every day, it seems like so many goals that you had kind of go away because you run from a conversation to a conversation, from a meeting to a meeting. Sometimes you even forget to have lunch. So making time for meaningful work, and I would put a comma here and say, and a meaningful lunch, is a very important thing to do. So I'm very, very interested in that, and I'm so glad that I found this objective. So this is a track. You see, it's not a lesson. It's a track. Track is a compilation of more than one lesson. In our Grovo method, the methodology is that track is a 5 to 7 day learning program. Here you see it's about a 5 to 6 day learning program. There's a little fast introductory lesson, and then there's a once a day kind of lesson that you can consume. And so the next thing that I want to show you is the lesson called Science of Deep Work. I think that it's a good one that sort of exemplifies, one, the style of new content that you can expect in Grovo. It will show you a lot of learner experience and what the learner feels like when they touch the lesson player, as well as it can tell you kind of all kinds of instructional design tools that we're putting in place. So notice what happens when I click play. My entire browser is immediately overtaken by content, right? So a lot of vendors, a lot of people, some of the thought leaders even in the industry walk around and still to this day use the word YouTube when they describe the most wonderful content that they've ever seen. But this is so much better than YouTube. This is so much better than YouTube. Have you logged into YouTube recently? YouTube has become a thin feed of videos in the middle, with a lot of advertisement on the top, a lot of advertisement on the right, and a lot of advertisement on the left. And guess what? Even when you find something that you want to watch on YouTube and click watch, you are sometimes forced to see a 30-second ad before you can even continue and start consuming the actual content. So this comparison to YouTube inspired some of it, but what was mostly inspiring to us is to build a fully immersive player that completely takes over, takes over your browser and really makes you feel like you are swimming in the sea of knowledge. So here you see the title card. Also notice that to the learner, it looks nothing like enterprise software. There's a subtle button here to go back, and there's a subtle button to start and go to the right. So imagine launching a learning program in your organization using Grovo Delta. Imagine composing a really cool email and putting in a link that's directly to this content for all learners, which you can do independently. You can also do in the product by building a campaign. And the second the learner clicks on that, which they would, whether it's on a mobile phone or on their desktop, I'll show you the mobile experience in a minute when we start building some content. The second they click on it, they see this amazing sea of knowledge completely overtaken by their entire desktop, and they absolutely don't feel like they've landed in any kind of enterprise product. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the lesson. It'll start with a video. We're going to watch the beginning of the video. On the screen, you're going to see a little bit of the lag time for the video. You should hear the voice just fine, or the sound from the video, but if you see a little laggy image, that is because with the fastest internet we have, with the best computers we can give, the web conferencing equipment is still not the very best. So just 1 second, and you will start watching the lesson.
So how much time do you need to get deep work done? Can you do it in 30 minutes? Well, no. That's probably not enough time to get anything significant done. But you also don't have to carve out 6 straight hours to do strategic creative work. In the 1960s, pioneering sleep researcher Nathaniel Kleitman discovered what he called the basic rest activity cycle. Basically, he learned that we sleep in 90-minute periods where we go from light sleep to sound sleep and then out again. What he also discovered was that our bodies and minds work the same way when we're awake. Every 90 minutes, we go from higher alertness to lower alertness. And if we try
so you see us here follow the Grovo method, and to sort of exemplify the subject in such an enticing way that a learner who touches this content immediately becomes super interested. And so what the video pretty much said is that there's a lot of research that says if you want to do deep work doesn't happen in 30-minute cycles, and also deep work doesn't happen in 6-hour cycles. So if you're the kind of person that comes to work and then blocks 6 hours, chances are that you will be drinking a lot of water and eating toast during this time. You will probably not be doing any deep work. 90 minutes, according to the science, is the right amount. And then you see and notice this self-paced approach where, as a learner, I move through different milestones in the lesson, so you can even count them. This lesson has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 milestones, and the success card here at the end. And then you see how here, as a learner, I can either use my keyboard left and right, or I can click and move right in a self-paced manner, because everybody learns at a different speed. And so here you see a summary of the lesson. To really achieve deep work, you need to find 90 minutes. And then you see an example of how to get it done. So here is a Jiffy that's embedded into the card. I'll show you how to do that as well, very easily, very pretty. That just allows you to show an example to somebody for how to put in these kind of 90-minute blocks into your calendar so that you can try to do deep work. And then you see them showing up there in green, okay? And then, interesting, at the end, we're asking you a question, right? We want to make sure whether or not you've learned. So let me see. Did I learn? What is the optimal time period for sustaining deep work? Let me pretend for a second that I don't know, and I will choose 30. Red, no, wrong. So the right answer is 90, and this is where you see how the application interacts. So when I am almost done, one of the big part of the Grovo method is that to sort of summarize it for you and give you the call to action to block off 90-minute period of time during your day to tackle some deep work. And then I'm done, and the system will recommend sort of next content. Whether if I'm consuming a track, it will recommend the next lesson in a track. If I am consuming an assignment, it will give me the next lesson in the assignment. If there is none of the above, then it will recommend some of the stuff that learners like me are also consuming, some of the popular content in the system. So I hope you've enjoyed it. This is the learner experience after the learner searched for and then navigated to a track about deep work and then found a lesson that he or she wanted to consume. Okay? So let's shift gears. Let's go to content creation. We've shown you the learner home and everything that the learner can do. Now let's show you the content creator home, the content library, and everything that a content creator can do. The first thing you see is that this content creation area is organized by lessons and tracks. Again, just to highlight, lessons are approximately 4 to 5 to 6 minute bursts of knowledge, micro-learning activities, and tracks can be used to compile the lessons into 4 to 5 to 6 day learning programs. There's not really a hard rule in Grovo method about it, and certainly the application gives you all the flexibility that you want, but I'm just kind of telling you what we're following as a rule of thumb. Let's go to lessons. Lessons are divided into multiple tabs here, so we're starting to organize our library. And so you see lessons that are built by me because I'm a content creator. You'll see the word Grovo here 2 times again because remember, the name of the company that's using this product is called Grovo, and the name of the library that Grovo gave you is the Grovo library. So you see here built by Grovo and built by Grovo again. But this in the middle is the content that's built by my company. That's what it is. And then the last one is built by Grovo, so you expect to see close to 3,000 different lessons available to you, which is the same amount that you can expect to see here, and that will be great. Hey, without further ado, let's build some content. Power of content creation is super, super important. Even though we're giving you a lot of Grovo lessons, and by the way, you can simply go to any lesson that is built by Grovo, you can duplicate it and then go into an edit mode and make it your own. So if this is remote work policies, as you see here, and if you want to add a slide that says remote policies at Kaiser Permanente or at Genentech, and if you want to add a few slides with your specific references to policies, right, before you publish and distribute this content to your workforce, you can do that very easily. And that's an amazing, amazing thing because you can combine the power of all the work that the content creation team here at Grovo has put in place and is putting in place, right, every day. The best instructional design tools, a lot of good visual assets, and simply overlay your company information on top of it so that it makes it sound like it is your own without going through this high-profile, high-price content creation, Hollywood-like content creation workflow. So that's amazing. But let me go back and let me just build a new lesson. When I build a new lesson, this is very interesting, and this is also very, very new, so I'm so glad that I'm showing this to you. You can start by building a blank lesson, and that's perfectly fine, and we will actually go through that workflow. But before we go through the workflow, look at what we're doing. We are immediately recommending to you some of the best practices, some of the templates that you can use to build content. And just below, we are not only relying on your ability to build content from scratch, we're also allowing you to port content from other libraries or other content sources that you have here. And so we'll only see, you'll only see as expand this kind of content portability. And this is just the beginning, but it's just easy as dragging and dropping here that will actually build a new set of lessons and a new set of objectives. Let's open one of the templates. Let's say that I want to start building with a template. What's really cool here is that immediately you see Grovo method laid out for your content creator so that you don't have to have anxiety over building instructional design content. What we see in a lot of organizations We see subject matter experts. We see managers. We certainly see people who are unafraid. But for some reason, when it comes to building learning, when people hear the word learning, they start asking, okay, is there a template? Are there some best practices? And so we're now delivering you not only our ability for you to take advantage of some of these templates that we have built, but also an ability for you to build your own custom templates so that you can distribute them through the organization so that your content creators can use those templates instead. What you see next is kind of like Grovo method exemplified. So you see the title card, you see defining a topic and concept that you want to introduce as the next one. Then you see our method asking you what is its biggest benefit, then show how it works, potentially put in a video here if you want, summarize what does it do, so you get it. The template, the micro-learning template exemplifies the Grovo micro-learning method to a content creator in a way that makes it easy to create content. But let's actually go and build a lesson from scratch so that I can show you truly the most amazing part of this is of course the fact that you can easily deliver it to the learner, that you can make a wow impression on the learner. But let me just show you how easy it is to build content without being a content creator. So we're in an empty lesson. Looks pretty empty, right? There's a title, and there are different cards that I can add. We'll talk about them in a minute. You can see me being able to add a text card, an image card, a video card, a document card, which of course can be served as a handout and can be downloaded by the learner during the process of consuming the content, and the question card, which can be used if you want to do a formal assessment. It can be used as part of the assessments in the formal assessment. If you want to use just informal quizzes so that the learner can just figure out how they're doing, you can do that as well. Well, let's begin with a title card. So I've been very interested in a topic on consensus building because I think that consensus building is a truly powerful subject that everyone across the company can really benefit from, whether you walk into a meeting or you have a hallway conversation. Consensus building with your colleagues is probably the most powerful tool that will take you forward very far in your career and will really be helpful for your company. So I am just going to title the lesson Importance of Consensus Building. Yeah? And I'm not a big fan of the blue background, and so if I want to, I can start playing with the background, and I can start using all kinds of different colors, etc. Right? This is probably even less okay. So instead of playing with these colors and making them so bright without a reason, what I will do is I'll upload an image in the background just to make it look really cool. So I have this cool little water Zen background image that I created. Look, with a click of a button, my title card, and let's go to the preview, my title card looks amazing. It looks amazing with a click of a button, right? It already looks like the kind of lesson that a learner, sorry if you can hear me, I'm sort of kind of banging on the table with the excitement. It's one of the ways to release the energy, I suppose. With a click of a button, you see this incredible title card that all of a sudden becomes so enticing and so welcoming, and it's just like I definitely want to touch this card more than I want to touch that bright pink card that I saw in just a second ago, right? Wonderful, we're done with the title card. It took us 1 minute. Let's add another card. So according to the Grovo method, what we should do is kind of highlight the importance, right? And of course now it will keep adding this pink because that's where I switched to, so I will go back to like a softer blue maybe for now. So here we should say building consensus can help you achieve great alignment and great results. And so I'm going to highlight the alignment because it's one of the topics that I want to bring up. I'm going to center it, and I'm going to also align results because you know that's how you get learners' attention. Right, and so you see kind of a full creative control here with the edit tool. You also see full creative control around whether or not you want it boxed, or if you don't want it boxed, you can add an inline image, which we will do in a second. You can even have creative control of the position as to where you want it, and so I'll just keep it in the middle for now. As always, I don't like the background, so I'll show you a few more. I'll show you this cool one that I have, which can, really, again, make me more interested in consuming it. And if I want to preview, I can do that again. So my title card is here. My second card is here, and I can also start viewing it on mobile. Look, wow, immediately every piece of content that I build is available on mobile. It's mobile first. It's not just for the desktop. So when you send that assignment to a learner who receives an email, probably on their mobile phone, opens that email, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to close that email and then remember to come back to it, or do you actually want them to click on a button, Start Learning? Well, we went with you wanting them to click on a button to start learning, and so that's why all content that we're building, we also wanted to make sure that it is completely mobile aware, and that immediately, even as a content creator, you can see how it lands here on the mobile device. Okay, and then I will add a video card here, which will be my next one. Look how easy it is to add a video card. You can record the video just like I did on your iPhone and then drag and drop it. Just like YouTube or any other video platforms, it will take us a few minutes to actually process the video. So I'm just going to add another text card. This is where I will add my inline image. Where's my little inline image here that I like? I'm going to drag and drop here. This is a cool little pen tapping inline image. It's a Jiffy, actually, so that you can see the use of Jiffys in the content creation tool. And so I will just kind of summarize at the end. Consensus always equals results. Okay. Equals results. Okay. And then I will add a quiz card, question card, and I will say, what does consensus usually lead to? And my first answer will be too much noise, right? Some people will choose that. Long meetings, some people might choose that. I'm going to put alignment and great results. And consensus leads to many people quitting. So what is the right answer? It's this one, right? So that we can see that if you select this answer, you will get red. And so if I click on preview now, you will see how the learner is interacting with this kind of question card right in the application. And you can also see the mobile version of this, where you see us sort of automatically change the orientation of these questions, because we want to make sure that a learner who consumes this on a mobile device can do that. By the way, notice, no mobile app required. We're not going to stop the learner who clicked on a button to consume content, then direct them to download an app and then figure out how to use the app. None of that is required. It is something that we definitely wanted to avoid. So the last thing that I have left is to make sure that my video is here, and it is. So let's watch it a little bit in this content preview mode.
His term as president was defined not by his unilateral decisions, but by his ability to build consensus. Instead of authority, he used influence. He didn't even give orders to his generals. His letters to them are full of language like, I hope you will consider, and this letter is in no sense in order. He gave himself the power to be the final decision maker, but his main tactic was to persuade rather than order. And by being able to influence without authority, he was able to end the Civil War.
So you see here how easy it is to put videos that you can film. Sometimes I film them on my iPhone. iPhone has really become a great, like iPhone or Android or whatever device you have, has become a really great, super high quality, sometimes higher quality than you need, video capture source. And so imagine the use case where you as a manager wants to make an announcement, where your head of HR wants to discuss a policy, when your CEO wants to talk to your employees via a learning material like a lesson, that becomes very easy to film. You do not need, the goal here was to completely remove the high-priced, long-length, Hollywood-style content production. All right, so I'm going to publish this lesson, and it's been published successfully. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to build an objective. So I'm going to go to my tracks, and I'm going to click on Create a Track, and I'm going to say importance, right, of consensus building. This is where I can start building a learning program. I will put my cover image that I like with a little brain. I think it's really cool. And right here, I'll just start adding lessons. And so look, at the top is the lesson that we just published, right? And I also want to add some communication-related lessons. So, oopsie, not communication-created lessons. And so I'm just going to add this one, effective communication through remote teams, because I think it's relevant to consensus. I am definitely going to put the ability to recognize inappropriate communications and culture of asynchronous communication, and I'll add all of that to my track. Boom. I have a learning track that's complete. In 4 minutes, we build a beautiful lesson, and then in 1 minute following the 4 minutes, we build a beautiful track on a topic of consensus building and communication. So you know what? Let's very quickly publish the track so that we can go to the next part of the application and see how it can be assigned. This is super powerful. This is what we've been talking about for all along, right? Building the kind of tools that allow you to then distribute the content in the organization. But yet it's also as simple as few clicks of a button. I'm going to click on Create Campaign, and I'm going to say consensus building. I'm going to put description here, and this is the fun part. I'm just going to add a track. Since I already built this track, I'm just going to add it to my campaign. Look, I have a campaign ready. I have a campaign ready with less than a minute. And what I can do now is very quickly start planning an assignment to groups of people in my organization to whom this campaign should go. So I'm just going to select product, that's my team, and I can send the assignment right from here. So hopefully you can see how easy it is to build content, to arrange it into tracks, and then resurface all the content and tracks during the assignment creation workflow, where you can assign it in a very, very target way with a very, very target due date. Just a few more things that I'd like to show you. We have built a lot of new reporting capabilities that start with a new KPI dashboard. And so here you can see like your user engagement, total views, some information about assignments. This is really cool. This can tell you, this kind of distribution graphic can tell you when are most of your assignments being completed. And so, you know, some good news for Grovo. I think most of these assignments are being completed about 5 days before they're due. So a lot of people are actually completing assignments when they receive them. That's amazing. You can see some of the most popular lessons. And so we wanted the dashboard to be a very good landing page. And you'll only see a lot of enhancements in this area that we can continue releasing. But we also built the standard reports. And so our standard reports are divided into reports on users, which is where you can get activity overview, consumption overview, assignment overview by user, reports on assignment, where you can get all kinds of assignment detail reports. And by the way, when you click on a report, sort of on the right here, we explain to you what that report will contain, so you don't have to wait and run the report before you realize you ran a wrong report. Report on content, right? Which lessons are being watched, which tracks are being watched, which tags are being used. And then on groups, if you build different groups in your company, which I'll show you how in a minute, that's where you really can also utilize those as well. In terms of administrative features, you can see here and expect a full-fledged of features to manage users, to build groups based on user management. One of the most exciting things in user management is that we now support unlimited number of user attributes. So if you have different systems that host all kinds of employee data, whether it's HRIS, which are other ones, you can pull all of that information into here, then build groups based on that kind of user attributes. And then finally, build roles with granular security that you can assign as to who can see what. Build tags or manage the tag library if you want to control the tags itself. Manage content and determine which content can be visible versus not visible in your organization. Turn on and off our different integrations and manage branding. And that's, guys, Grovo Delta, the amazing new learner experience with the new Grovo library, amazing Grovo Create tool that allows you to build lessons and tracks, incredible ability to assign campaigns, wonderful ability to report on both the KPI dashboard as well as the standard reports, and full set of administrative tools. And we just can't wait to put this into your hands. Just before we go to Q&A, I wanted to highlight a few items about the roadmap. And I just want to make sure that you understand that this is only the beginning, where we have a whole roadmap in the Learn area of the application around social learning tools. In Create area of the application, we have more media creation and more content feedback tools that we want to give you so that you actually know the content that people like and watch versus don't watch. In the campaigns and assignment, or the ability to plan your learning program, we're giving you more automation tools to build an intelligent learning programs. And in report and administrator area, you'll see more dashboards and more just-in-time reports. And so we're definitely shooting for quarterly releases, and we just can't wait. So with this in mind, I think we have a bunch of questions that are there. So why don't we jump into some of those questions? The question is, the first question that we have is, will you have suggested learning? Yes, and so suggested learning can be of two types in Grovo Delta. One type of suggested learning could be based on other learning that you are consuming in the application, so it will show up in your Grovo Delta. The other suggested learning can be part of you browsing for a specific tag. When you click on a tag, the application will suggest a bunch of content based on that tag. The third one could be suggested learning that is suggested by your administrator so that they can feature some learning at the top. And the last suggested learning is most formal evolution of that, and that's via assignment. You can suggest and assign via assignment. All right, let's go to the next question. Is there a way for the learner to favorite a lesson, add it to the queue, or they're browsing the catalog? Okay, so bookmarking is not currently supported. So basically, to add a lesson to the queue, the learner would just have to get into the lesson, and it will add itself to their learning path. But so we're working on the ability to bookmark and add content to what I call their learning briefcase. And so you will definitely see, as a learner explores content, they will definitely have the ability to add that content to their briefcase. All right. Does all of the content in the Grovo library have this new look and feel? Yes and no. What we did is we took a lot of Grovo 1 or the previous Grovo content, and we didn't want you to lose it. We didn't want you to not have access to it. So with that content, we ported that content into the new content library, and you'll find it in Grovo Delta. But it will, for the most part, look the same that it looked before. It will have a video in the middle, and then potentially a quiz card or several ones at the end. But so with Grovo Delta content, you will see more self-paced environment where you can go and have more cards and more steps in the lesson to understand the content. Is there a way to put sound? For example, if we wanted to include a voiceover with one of the text boxes. Interesting that you asked this question. It is literally the next item on our Grovo Create roadmap. I saw the product manager, Ophir, for that part of the application here on the webinar. So he's probably very happy that you asked this question because it sort of solidifies our wish to put it at the top. Our vision there is to allow you to do the voiceover, as you've said, use your machine to capture those voiceover, as well as potentially record video as well, right? Why must you record your content on your iPhone or other mobile device and then somehow send it to your computer? Why can't you already use some of the laptop capabilities or some of the desktop capabilities that you have, because you have a microphone, you have a camera? So this is right on, very top of the Create roadmap, expected in Q3. Let's see, the next one. What is the difference between campaign and track? Okay, it's a very good one. So tracks are compilation of different lessons on the same topic. Track is something that a learner in the exploratory mode would encounter when they navigate the Grovo library without it being assigned, pushed, required, and a due date. Campaigns are used as the assignment template. So campaigns are used to put a lot of content into it and then assign that to the learner. So for example, you can build a track so that everybody can find it when they browse and search for it, but then you can use the track to put it into campaign so that you assign it to a group of people with a due date so that it shows up as a formal assignment for them. So that's the difference. They're related, but they serve very, very different use case. Okay. Will you be adding other test templates? Yeah, so that's a very common question, and I'm glad that you guys are asking it. So basically, I'm assuming the question here is, will we support a free form? Will we support questions that have multiple correct answers? And the answer is yes. We expect to continue to work on it in the second half of 2017. Will content created by us be browsable, searchable from the home page? Yes. So any content that you build is immediately indexed by our database, like literally immediately, so that you can search for it, you can browse for it if you find a tag to it, and of course your learners can as well. And like I said, the other way to feature content is to then, if you're really proud of a piece of content that you just built, and the other way to feature it is to put it on the learner home as a featured content so that they can see it there as well. How are we doing on time?
We're about to wrap up.
About to wrap up. Shall we start wrapping up or one more question?
Let's address this next question with our next slide as well. And what a number of people asked is the timeline and when this will be going live. So we are very much looking forward to getting customers on the new platform. After this webinar, you will receive an email with a link to a landing page that will collect your contact information, and your individual customer success manager will be reaching out to you to discuss the timeline that makes sense for your account and usage of Grovo.
Yeah, so we're very excited to do this. Any other ones you want to answer that, Julie?
You will also be getting a copy of this webinar in that follow-up email for anyone who wanted to share it with your team. I know we had a couple people mention they want to show it to the team.
Wonderful.
And if we didn't get to any of your questions that you asked, we are keeping track of these questions, and your individual customer success manager will answer it via email for you. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to them.
Wonderful. And do reach out to me as well. I'm always very happy to speak with customers. I'm so glad that I recognize so many names on the webinar. My email is Maksim, it's like Sam, I am like Mary at grovo.com, and I'll be glad to respond. And I'm already getting some tweets here from you, so I appreciate that as well. Thank you so much, and have a great day.